Hey, Violent Community, Jeff here, and of course, as soon as I start making a video, the sirens start. Hopefully, you're not hearing that. It's kind of in the distance, but yeah, we got something going on out there. So anyway, I wanted to go ahead and get on board with this. So, if you're not familiar, the VC lottery is upon us, taking place during the month of June. I've mentioned it briefly in the past. If you don't know what the VC lottery is, check the link below that I will be posting for Bobby's channel, explaining the whole thing. It happens pretty much every year. It has for a while. And so, in a nutshell, at least 26 people volunteer. I'm one of the volunteers. They volunteer to take part in this. And then the whole thing, people make videos. There's a big drawing. And at the end, whoever wins, the 26 volunteers, each individually will send that person a gift based upon the letter that was chosen for them as a volunteer. I have the letter X. In the past, I have had number sign. I had V. Yeah, X. Anyway, only few bands come to mind with X. But anyway, I'll figure it out. So this year, the questions and everything are a little different. This year, there's actually going to be, well, I think he's knocked it down now to 10. He was going with 12, but he's doing 10 questions. So we need to take the time to do 10 videos, which is really weird. Usually it's one video. But we're going to do 10 videos during the month of June for the lottery. And so, yeah, let's get right into this. Like I said, if you want to volunteer, it's not too late. Obviously, if you're interested in knowing what it's all about, check out the link for channel. And Bobby's got all the explanations and everything. I think last I heard there were still some slots open. There's still some needs there. And we've had more than 26 in the past. And that's when things like number signs and other odd characters have come into play. And so there are some of those characters still available. So if you want to volunteer, it's fun, whatever. And you can make a video. So make sure you get on board with this. You got till the end of June. And I think he's only revealed like 7 of the questions so far. So it's still forthcoming more information. Number 1 question, though, briefly, if you wonder what the red's for, is it's Christmas based. And Christmas in June. The lottery used to be around the end of the year. It was kind of a Christmas present because by the time the lottery was over and the gifts started flowing to you, it would be around Christmas. So it's Christmas in June. I don't have any Christmas decorations. Everything's in the attic, so I couldn't go for any kind of festive hats or shirts or anything. So I just went with red. And I'm not going to be showing any records because the question is simple. It's a Christmas party. It's based upon the Christmas Carol movie, Three Ghosts, Christmas past, future, present, all that stuff. And so he wants to know 3 celebrity musicians, musicians who have passed away that you would have show up at your Christmas party, representing basically the ghosts of Christmas past, present, future. And so it kind of intrigued me. I mean, because obviously you have different people you'd like to meet and see, and I'm just thinking of a party atmosphere. But he mentioned, and this is what triggered this, because I started trying to kind of think, well, Christmas past should be somebody who's been gone for a while. Christmas present should be, maybe somebody who recently, but then future, that's got to be somebody that's not, it just was confusing. But he mentioned Frank Sinatra, and that triggered something in me. So I'm going to go with Frank Sinatra as one of them, and I'm going to explain to you why. I know little to nothing about him. I know the songs that are popular. I've heard that. Not a big fan. Don't know any of his music. Don't own any of his music. But a couple years ago, a author friend of mine, I do his website. He's an author. He's a historian, and he does novels, but they're historical novels with fictitious characters. And I'm totally drawing a blank on the term that I'm looking for. Historical fiction, I guess, sort of, kind of. He's big in Oklahoma history, lives in Oklahoma. He's written a lot of history books on that. He's written a lot of history books on various things that took place in the past, everything from the war between the states to just Oklahoma history in general. And those are real history books. And then he has also done these fictitious novels based upon, true life stories with inserting fictitious character in there. And the 2 books that he has written over the years that I have both read is Mustang and Shortgrass. And they're basically the story of a Mennonite fella from Oklahoma who, the Mennonites were very much against the war, very much peaceful, etc. And he ends up joining the military to become a military pilot during World War II. So it's a story of him, but along the way he falls in love. There's girls, there's all this stuff. So the thing that intrigued me, again, not knowing a ton of history about a lot of the goings on during World War II, is, I mean, the books were seriously captivating. I just fell in love with the storyline, and there has been rumors that he has some people in contact with him to possibly make a movie. So if you do see a movie dealing with any Mustang or shortgrass, whatever it comes out to be, then you'll know that you saw it here first. Anyway, in the story, the main character falls in love with this girl. She's a great singer. They are together. They're really in love. She ends up getting recognized and hired by Frank Sinatra's band. So she's now Frank Sinatra's one of his backup singers and part of whatever the band. So now I did not realize, again, I know the scenes you see with like Beatles and the scenes you see with Elvis where the girls are going nuts. I saw that with, David Cassidy, just the craziness of the 70s. But I never thought about the craziness and their female response to Frank Sinatra. I know Frank from the old Blue Eyes, the older days, but as a teen and in the early years and in the wartime, apparently he was the hot sex symbol of the day, and the women would go crazy for him. And the way he presents it in the book, that this guy was just like the American Idol. He was just women going nuts. Never really thought of that much when it goes to back into the days of the 40s and stuff. So that was always intriguing, that it's just whatever, you just never think of that. As you figure things were more tame back then, but apparently he was a big thing when it came to that kind of attraction. So that intrigued me. So I thought, well, I'm going to have him because he could be the ghost of future past. Because not only would it be cool to just sit down and talk to him about the stuff he went through and the time frame and all of that history, that I just thought it'd be neat to meet somebody of such notoriety that I really don't know much about. And then from there, okay, so then I'm going with some fairly more modern ones. The Ghost of, it doesn't matter what order you want to put them in, but the Ghost of Future Present. I'm thinking, I want to invite Eddie Van Halen and Tom Petty. Eddie, obviously, guitar god of my youth all the way up. I discovered them in the late 70s, early 80s. So there's that. And then Tom Petty, I really got into probably in the 90s and from there. And I always thought it would be really nice. I've seen him in like the movies, what, The Postman or whatever. There was a couple movies he appeared in, and he always just seemed so down to earth and just so laid back. And I thought it'd just be neat to kind of hang out with him and see that kind of stuff. So those are the three that I was going to pick. Frank Sinatra, Eddie Van Halen, Tom Petty. There are so many. I mean, there's obviously so many that would be great, and I could rack my brain to come up with a bunch more, but he's not allowing us more than three. And those are just ones that kind of popped up that are fairly recent, that, for sad cases, of course, they were fairly young. And so it'd just be neat to kind of get to sit around the table with these three gentlemen and, yeah, get to learn and put a band together. You could have Frank singing, Eddie on guitar, you could have Tom on guitar with some background singing and some regular singing. And wouldn't that be a cool duet, Frank Sinatra and Tom Petty? Anyway, yeah, so I just thought that would be an interesting concept with that. And I think that pretty much is summing up question number one. And I'll jump on question number two soon. I want to try to keep up with these and space them out a little bit, not have, not get too bogged down with trying to cram them all in at the end of June. So anyway, check out the video for the contest. If you're not aware, make sure you jump on board and get involved. Make the videos and be a part of this, because the winnings could be a big, big, big deal. So 20, possibly 20 some packages, depending on if we get more volunteers to fill in the 26 plus slots. That's it for this one, though. Rock on and rock hard.